Hello folks, this is Doug with Imagination Mechanical and Fabrication coming to you again to kind of give you another update on what I've accomplished in the shop here. Because we got multiple businesses, I get here when I can get here and stay, like now it's 8 o'clock at night, and on Friday, I think the 10th of October, and so I just kind of want to show you what I've done. And I have other stuff, I'm waiting on people here too, in the store here, or a little thrift store. And so it's, you get people who come in there and they just wander around for 30 minutes and then they don't buy nothing, so you got 30 minutes of time that's been wasted really, that I could be out here, but I have to deal with it because they could buy something. Some people do. But I just want to kind of show you what else I've accomplished since the last time, and see what you think. And as always, subscribe, hit the notification and leave some comments. Let me know what you think and, suggestions or whatever. And so here we go. All right. Now, as you can see, the workbench is pretty much cleaned completely off now. And I've got all my electronics bins. I got the pegboard put up here, and started putting stuff on it. I've got some hooks down here. I got this box with some hooks on them, but it's not all the kind I want. And but I can still use some of them to do as I find stuff I want to put up there. But you can see I got solder. This is all wire, copper wire. Roll of eutectic solder. Let's see, that's copper wire. This here is more eutectic solder. That's solder wick, and then some different kinds of wire. Started, some other little things up here. Right now, I just been putting my hand tools in here until I figure out how I want to do it. I got to, because you need to put them on pegboard. You need those special kind of clips that these slip down into, and I got to order some of them. I hadn't had it in my mailbox or my shopping cart, and it was a variety of different kinds for that kind of stuff. So I got to order them, and I've got it cleaned up, and this has really been. I've really put this to use, cleaning up rusty tools and stuff like that, chisels and stuff. And so it's really coming in. That what you can see, that's a brass wheel there, but it's starting to look like a steel wheel. As you can see, I got the compressor down from over there off of that pallet right there. I got it off, and I used this crane, which was a trick. Because that boom, even with it out all the way out, it just barely reaches up to the top of that, and then you still got to lift it enough off of there to get it up off of the pallet, and then try to go back. Well, this thing is unwieldy. It's heavy on that side because of the head of the compressor, and you got the motor over here to kind of counterbalance it, but that over there is a lot heavier than this, even though it's cast aluminum. And then this tank has got 3 feet. So it kind of, so what it wanted to do is it twisted around on me, and almost tore my arm up. And I had to catch it. It was like wanting to tip all the way over and take the lift with it. You can see here where I got my arm. But it's not as heavy as it looks. It's probably about 350 pounds. And, so I caught it and I stood it back up, and I managed to get it, slide it off of the, cause what I did, I could see that it wasn't going to, that lift wasn't going to be able to lift it up center from the center, cause you really would need to be up here somewhere with your strap. And there's a hole right there. I wanted to come up through that and then hooked onto my hook, but it was only right here. That boom came up to here. And so whenever I get ready to put it back, what I'm intending on doing is This is the extent of how far you can extend it out right now. But this pipe, this tube, it goes like to right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a center punch and I'm going to punch this, and I'm going to drill that out on the drill press and extend it out another foot. And then on the back here, if you look at it, you got this here. I'm going to take and mount some counterweights there to put some weight on the back of it like you would on a crane. I mean, because that's what they want to, when they want to extend their boom out further out and higher up, they put a lot of counterweight behind it. So I'm going to put counterweights there. I've got some stuff. I got a tractor counterweight that went into a tractor hub. It's a weight to put weight on the back wheels of a tractor. I got it over there, and it probably weighs 50, 60 pounds. I'll throw that on there and then find some other stuff, some of this steel over here or something, put on there. But the other thing I got done was I said I was going to take this saw and I was going to put it up on a platform, and that's what I did. I built this platform here, as you can see, and put 4 little casters. They're like 1.5 inch casters, 2 inch. And I had these pans. These are like what you would slide under a car in a garage to catch the oil off your engine or whatever, to keep it from getting on your garage floor or something. So I got 3 or 4 of them over here. So I was like, well, hey, man, why not just take and put that under there, and it can catch any oil from the cutting process and the shavings or whatever, the cuttings can collect in there, and then I can just vacuum them up or wipe them out or whatever. And now I can use my stand. This stand here, it's got the balls on top, and you can lift it up and use the roller, however you want to do it. And so, and it's it's ideal for supporting a piece of long, tube steel or angle iron or whatever. The other thing about this saw is that I like is you can flip it up, and I've got a plate over here that you can mount right here, and you can use it as a vertical bandsaw. Where if you want to do some hand work or whatever, where you need to, scroll it or whatever, you can do that, and which is convenient. But I've also got another bandsaw over there that I'm going to use for that kind of stuff with a smaller blade that you can do more fine work. And of course, this is the lockdown, so that But now, even with this is bolted down, I took and screwed it down with some long lag type screws and some washers through the inside of the legs, and so this thing's not going anywhere. And you can just, it's stable. You can just push it real easy. Just that easy to push it, and I've got it out of my way. And that right there, you can let it down and, fold it up, and you could probably even, I've thought about maybe putting a piece of plywood down there, and then I could just slide that right up under there, and then whenever I want to set it up, boom, there you have it. That easy. And then, like I say, this crane's going to come in handy because, if you got to lift something up onto a workbench or something that's heavy, 200, 300 pounds, that'll be ideal. And this was a really good deal. It's a 1 ton. I would have liked to have the 2 ton, but it's a 1 ton. And I got it at Harbor Freight, and it's pretty well built. It's good and heavy. But what I initially, the normal price for it was like $269.95 plus tax or whatever. And I went over there this week, and they were having the parking lot sale or something like that. And I signed up to become a insider member or whatever, which was like $30. But I got that for $229. So, I saved $40 off of the price. And of course I had to pay the insiders thing there, but you know, you get all these deals all the time, you know, and you get advance notice of sales and all that stuff before anybody else. And of course, this is stuff that people brought here and dropped off. You know, they see me open here and, hey, will you take this stuff? You know, I mean, you know, plates and dishes and books and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. You know, I mean, my woman gets mad if I don't. And I found a place that has those Connexes, the container shipping containers that they rent. So I thought about maybe renting one, you know, just temporarily, you know, to put out there to get this stuff out of here and put it in there, and then be looking to see if I can't find one for myself, you know, and you know, save up the money or whatever to buy one at some point, or a building or something and put out there, you know, to put this stuff in. And you know, and if somebody needs a bed frame or whatever, well, I can go in there and show them the bed frames or whatever, and then get these tables out of here. These chairs, I can take and put them inside. Some of this stuff I can still put, you know, find a place for it inside in there. And then I got outside, I got them two big pocket doors that I'm, you know, but I also, the guy ain't gonna get on all that, but anyway, also, as you can see, I took and put me a thing here. This was already here. It had been mounted over there, so I said, well, why not just repurpose it? So I put it over here, got all my screwdrivers and stuff in there, and little brushes and stuff. And I needed somewhere to put my chisels, my drift pins, and center punches and stuff like that. So I had this little plastic box, and it was kind of jinky. So I cut it in half, and I'm going to tell you what, this plastic here is the most ornery plastic I've ever seen. I mean, I took and cut it with a Dremel wheel. And, of course, trying to cut something like that that's flexible, that moves in and out and all that, and this plastic gets hot and it melts and wants to stick to your blade. I mean, I went through like 5 or 6 blades just to cut that one thing. But, you know, I finally got it done. And this is just kind of temporary. I'm gonna make something where I can just, you know, but see, trying to put chisels like that into something is a little, you know, making something to hold them or something is a little bit difficult. You'd have to turn them up like that and put the shank in there, and then you got some like this here where they've mushroomed them out, you know, and that's, I don't know if it's case hardened or if it's through hardened, but you can see where they mushroomed it, and you'd have to cut that off in order to get it to go into some kind of a molded, you know, something, or, you know, drilled out piece of wood that you could stick it down in like you're doing with the screwdrivers, but it would, you know, have a bottom to it to where it wouldn't slide all the way through. And then and as I've been doing this, I you know, keep altering the way I'm, you know, doing stuff. I just kind of look at something and see, well, how does, you know, what does it look like that would fit there? Well, that kind of worked out. And then I hung up some more wrenches over here. These are all metric here. I had all these standards, so I said, well, I might as well, you know, put a set of metrics up here too. And you know, I've got clamps up there and my creeper right there. And I got a buddy of mine, his uncle's got a sawmill, and, you know, around here there's a lot of timbering and milling around here. And so he said he's already got me some. He's just got to bring it to me. He's got me a big pile of poplar or pine, I don't know, pine or poplar, and it's rough cut. You know, but I don't care. I'm not building a Taj Mahal or nothing here. But he's going to bring me like rough cut 2x8s, which are really true dimensional 2x8s. Is what rough cut is. That's true dimensional. And then whenever you know, they get it kiln dried or whatever, then, or even before they kiln dry it, they'll take and run it through a planer and an edger and all that stuff. But then my next project is that meter. And I've got to cut the gas off. I've got a heater in there, and it's getting cold enough now where it ain't going to be a big deal to turn that heat on and let it burn that gas off. And then once it burns it off, I can take this loose and take that meter out, and I can probably use most of this pipe to redo it. And I want to bring it up like right here, get it close to this, get it close here and bring it up. I'll take and notch that out with a hole saw or something, come up and then go over, or maybe go over and then over to here, and cut that old piece of PVC pipe out of there, get it out of there, then build my platform. And I wished I could find somebody that needed that stuff right there. That's a whole drum of that wax resin rust proofing compound, but it's for roofers. And I wish I could find somebody that could use that and sell it, get rid of it. Because I can't do anything with it. I can't use it, and well, it might be considered hazardous waste. It was in a storage, or an estate sale or a storage locker or something we got, and you got to take it all. And that thing's, a couple hundred, 250, 300 pounds. And I didn't have a hand truck with me, and I had to hump that thing up and load it into the truck. That's the bad thing about storage lockers and stuff, but you get some stuff you really wish you didn't get it. But anyway, I've got to that point, and I've got all my tools laid out under here. All my grinders are over here, and then down on the bottom, which I got this recently. I got this DeWalt cordless, and it's really been a lifesaver because I had to do some work on the deck at our house, and I just didn't want to drag a drop cord around, and it was $99. $99. Now, it didn't come with a battery, but I had batteries. But I did go ahead and I bought a 2-pack, and I'm gonna tell you what, man, they're proud of those things. A 2-pack of 20-volt batteries, $149. That's crazy, man. And they're doing that more and more to where now you just buying the tool and you buy the battery separate. And used to, whatever you bought, you got batteries and you got a charger and all that stuff. But they're starting to sell all that stuff separate. But you can see I've made some progress, and of course a lot of the hardware, nuts and bolts and all that kind of stuff that was piled up over here on this bench is now over here. So this will be one of my future things. And this is that thing I took apart that was a tape, a Record-X, where you could record like 6 tapes at a time, cassette tapes. Well, that thing's obsolete, but the motors are good, and these spools or pulleys, and the drive belts and all that stuff's good stuff. So for future little projects or something I want to do, so I piled all that stuff over here. So that's another thing I gotta go through. And I've been going through this dresser here, or chest of drawers. It had hardware and tools and stuff in it, so I've been going through it. Like in here, that's all staples for the heavy duty arrow staple guns and stuff like that, and razor blades for scrapers and stuff. And I'm going to take and empty that bottom drawer out, and like this, all these chargers, and stuff like this, timers or whatever. This is like a UPS surge protector or whatever. But put that kind of stuff down there to kind of get it out of the way. And as you can see, I've got this set up pretty good over here now for my batteries. And I tell you, this XR, it won't go to a full charge now. It's got a cell that's starting to go out on it or something, and it's probably the same thing that's wrong with that one. And those are $130 or $40 a piece, those XRs or whatever. And and you can see that ain't that old. But when you push the button, now it's showing three bars on there, or no, so it's only showing 2. So you can see and when you put it on a charger at full charge, it only shows 2 bars on there. And then this one is charged now. These are the 2 I just bought, I think. Anyway, I mean, so this is my charging. Oops, I got my finger over thing. This is my charging station, and battery for charging car batteries, and that's for charging car batteries and stuff. And so I've got that arranged now the way I want it. And so there you have it. And I don't know if I said it the last time I'd got these wheels, and I got 2 different color wheels because that's what they had. And so and it's like $8 a piece. Worth it. And so, but that's it. Where I'm at now. So my next project, if that guy will get that wood to me, is to build the platform over there. I'm gonna build it like 3 feet out, and it'll cover that big dip right there, and get it nice and level. It's within reason. I mean, it's rough cut lumber, so it's you're gonna have to work with it. But and I may even use the wood itself if he brings me enough to just do the top of the deck instead of using plywood or something. And then this beast, after I get the gas meter out and get it repiped and stuff, because I got to thinking about it. I was thinking about taking that thing out, but I may need it. I mean, it may need I may need the heat. Instead of having to just set up a propane or something, I mean, I've already got the natural gas here, might as well use it. But anyway, then this is going to go back, and it's going to go back over towards that corner over there, and that'll give me a whole lot of freed up space there, because the thing was sitting right here, I mean, and so it was just in the way, it's kind of like right in there, and it'll fit right back in there perfect. And then I can do the piping out of it. I'll turn it where it's facing out like this here in this box. I've got enough of that right there. I can come on over and I can mount it right there. And mount it right over here. And then that's got a long enough whip right into it. And then bolt that thing down with some lag bolts. But I want to get some isolation pads. I've got one here, and I used to have a whole bunch of them. We used to use them on all our equipment, and these cork isolation pads, they make good isolation for stuff like that, so you don't get a lot of vibration and harmonic noise. Well, I may have some of them in that construction trailer I've got down there, but anyway, I want to mount them mount this on them. And that's going to be the tricky part. I'm going to have to do something that, if nothing else, just to get it up there on the platform, and then I'll just have to work it back over to there, because, like I say, I mean, it's like 350 pounds or something. So I can kind of muscle it back over there, but, I don't like having to do that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then once I get that done, these tanks and stuff, I'm going to put a place over here, mount something right there that I can strap those tanks up to for safety and all that, and that'll still be able to be right there. That tank stand, it can still be right there. I may even take and do the platform over to here, do it like that, and then 3 feet down this way, but do back here all the way across, and then that way it's level across there. That's kind of what I think I'll do, like an L, and then bring this probably over to that rack right there, and then that way I can set this up there, and maybe take the casters off of it and just set it up on top of there, and it'll be level. It's still leaning out because this stupid asphalt. But anyway, that's where I'm at, and I just want to kind of give a heads up. This has been a lot of work and still more to do, but it's worth it. It'll be worth it if I can start getting some business and make it pay off. And And it kind of, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. It's what I've done all my life pretty much is work with tools and work with my hands. And it kind of gives me a motivation to kind of keep going and doing. But with that, I'm going to call it an evening. I thank all you folks for watching the videos. Like I said, subscribe, hit the notification, and leave comments or whatever. Just we like to know what people think, and I hope all of you be blessed, and I'll see you on the next one if Yahuwah is willing. Thank you.